Still waiting for the Kaltura to respond. So, all right. So, welcome everybody to attend this what I call Data Apprentice kickoff meeting. And this is a initiative that I've been thinking about for several years already. And let me introduce myself before I introduce other faculty member. And my name is Taewei Wang. I've been at the UIS for about 15 years, and this is my starting of. I started at UIS in 2015. No, 2005. Sorry. So this is 2020. Yeah, 15 years. And over the 15 years teaching at UIS, I've been working with one particular student organization called AIS Student Chapter, and I continually want to involve students to do some of the research and some of the work I've been doing. But with all the courses we've been teaching and all the activity we have on campus, is really hard. But with this opportunity that our campus, our actually college, is trying to initiate a Center for Business Analytics. So I use this opportunity to create this little group. I use the term apprentice because I want to make it not as formal. So it will be like a small group, and we have faculty and student working together, not as in a traditional classroom setting, but more as more of apprentice learn from the expert that sort of set up, and so in the process we get to know each other. Hopefully we can get something really good out of it. Now, other than me, I think I saw at least three other faculty members in the meeting right now, and one of the faculty I anticipate is not here. So originally I have the Dr. Ahmad Jumar going to be joining us, and I believe Salan, you're here with us, and we have Dr. Michael Chong or Michael Zhuang from the MIS department. We have Savilai O'Neill and from the MMO department, and all of the faculty member will be here to sort of like create something that hopefully productive and interesting in the entire process. So let me get started to explain to you what I want to do here and what you can do in participating in this whole event. Now, before I go to the next slide, I'm going to be posting a link in the chatting room. So in the chatting room, you will see a link that take you to a Google document or Google form. And this is the what I call application form. So if you go in there, you can submit your information, and we will officially adopt you as a apprentice. I mean, a student as an apprentice in our group, and we can actually start doing something more interesting. And the timeline, and later I'll explain the timeline for this group, and we'll extend all the way to the spring semester, and that'll have more time actually to do this type of you can say job or thing. So first of all, the motivation of creating this particular group, and this is an initiative, but basically based on the idea that we're going to be focusing from the college perspective a lot on data analytics. And you probably heard about this term: data is the new oil, data is the new soil. So the raw material is there, and there are data there everywhere, and it's just better for us to use it. We need to kind of harvest the oil, or actually not harvest the oil, but try to distill the oil and try to make out of something from the raw material that we have. The second thing is, if you are my MIS 376 or marketing 378 student, and you are in this group, you are in for the project. And this is the way I ensure that I have a basic audience in this little group here. That is that at the beginning of the semester, you watch a video that I asked you to watch. That is Hans Rosling. He is a social scientist and from Sweden. And he made something, the TED Talk called the best statistic visualization in 2008, I believe. That was the most original TED Talk. And from there, I have some idea that we want to do something very similar to that because, to me, that a lot of the thing we thought as data analytics is not really hardcore science that you have to be very good at statistics or very good at technology in order to do it. So the whole idea is that we try to democratize the data analytic field. So the tools and the idea, the technology going to be using will be so easy that just like now that you can use YouTube to easily create a movie very, very easily. And we can create a very good data analytics report very easily using the tool we have here. And of course, this is one of the initiatives we have for the Center for Business Analytics we're going to be starting. And so the plan is we're going to be throughout the academic year, from now to spring semester, we're going to be soliciting faculty's expertise. We'll start very simple and using my personal kind of material developing as one example, and we're going to be soliciting other faculty members, including the faculty member already in the room, to do some of this little small project. And at the same time, we're going to be encouraging you as a student to participate in student-oriented research project and try to make sure that you are not intimidated by this so-called research or data analytic in the process. And eventually, hopefully, we can get you into some sort of a visibility by entering you into some competition. And I'll explain some of the competition I have in mind in a minute or so. So the story is that I don't know how many of you know what it is. And this is, I copied from one of the website that from Taiwan, actually. And this is actually I don't really know how it is called, but it is a Xerox machine in the 1980s. So when I was a student. So my father was a high school teacher, and when I was like in the elementary school, and I was helping my father to do some of the teacher's job already. And one of the things that I was helping him to do is to Xerox, or you can call this Xerox, or copy the exam material for him. And this was one of the machines that used for printing exam. And the exam, we didn't have a computer back then. So the whole idea of a printing exam is that you need to have some sort of a printing machine. And the printing machine is so primitive, you can not imagine how effective it is. And this slide is actually the result of the printing or the exam print out from that particular printing machine. And obviously you can see that the Xerox is coming out of a sort of like a handwritten document. And actually the whole technology here used is that somebody have to write the exam on a piece of wax paper. So when you write using a hard tip pen to write on this wax paper, you can create something called the original print for this machine. And after you have that original print, you can actually just using this little brush here in the drawer and push out the oil or the paint into the paper, and then you have this exam, right? So that was a very, very primitive technology. But in order to create this exam, you got to have somebody very good at handwriting. So otherwise, if you as a professor try to show your student handwriting, that it will be a mess. Usually professors are not very organized, and we kind of dribble everything on paper. So back then, in most of the university and high school, in this case, there are a lot of secretary actually are doing the job of just their job is just writing this original print for the exam material for any material need printing. But just very quickly turn the time into 1995 or 1990 even. We have computer already. So very quickly, what I noticed that in my father's office, all the secretaries were laid off. They were laid off because there's no need for somebody to write this exam anymore. So with the technology that evolved, that we see that a lot of things that in the past need to be done by an expert now can be done easily by a regular person. This includes the data analytic, and this is what I call by democratizing the data analytic in the process. So my whole idea is that we need to do the analytic in a more human-oriented way. And talking about the human-oriented way, and the other day I was talking to some of my former students. I was telling them that you know, because I'm from the technology field, and I was telling them, well, are you interested in learning technology? Don't be afraid if you are not good at programming, right? And why you don't need to be good at programming in order to do technology? The reason being that the programming is no longer the issue anymore because there are so many tools can help a person don't know how to program and do the programming. And in the field of computer game, the most important asset is not the programmer; it's the person writing the story about the computer game. So that is the title of this particular slide here. The whole thing about the analytic, to me, at least at this current stage of my career, when I try to do something for you, for the student, is that I want you to be a very good storyteller. Now, the picture here is a picture or the slide or graphic or a chart that you see on the screen here was grabbed from a TED Talk from, I believe that was 2012, I believe that was the time. So the presenter is a UK journalist. His name is David McCandless. And so he presented this little simple chart to the audience and asked the audience, do you know what this represents? This obviously is a very simple line chart. Every college-educated student, including you, should be able to do it with the data given to you. So, so this is a chart that's showing. Well, if you look at the chart, it really doesn't. It look like a stock market or something, or some sort of a price fluctuation. But if you know the story behind it, it will be very interesting. This particular chart is created by the status changes from Facebook throughout, I believe, in 1 year's period. So somebody just take the Facebook sample data and try to plot and count how many of the person's status change from single to in a relationship, from relationship to married, from married to divorce, and that sort of a change process, and make this particular diagram. All right, this a chart here, and you can probably see that there are a lot of status change over the spring break in the year of time, and over the Christmas, and there are some breakup time as well. So a very tedious diagram. Once you know the story behind it, it becomes an interesting chart to show. And the power of data exists right here. And once you have informed by this kind of data, now you can use the data to do something, right? So if you want to do business, for example, I mean, us in the College of Business, I know some of you are not from the College of Business, but that's fine. And I'm in the College of Business. We are doing business. Now you look at this chart, there are business opportunity there. So what you do after people start breaking up after spring break. So that will be the time you focus on the people who has broken heart and try to do something about it, and well, maybe try to sell them some story movies, or I don't know. There might be some interesting thing you can come out with. So that is about story, and I have a few more examples I want to show it to you. And some of the stories are important, interesting, and because they are relevant. And the data, everybody has the data, and but somebody, when they convert the data into a more visible or usable form, then you can use it in a more productive way. Let's put it this way. So one of the or answer some important questions. Like in this case, this is a very new chart that I grade from a website. I'm going to be showing it to you in a minute or so, or maybe 5 minutes. Is the data, the COVID-19 death number, plotting into a picture. I mean, in the line chart. So why this chart is so important and so informative? Because there are a lot of talk about is COVID-19 a hoax? We're just overestimate the severeness of COVID-19. If you don't put them into a context or visualize the data in the good way or the correct way, then you don't get a sense of how important, how severe the problem is for the pandemic. And this chart shows that the COVID-19 death compared to other deaths in the same time period. And once you see this spike, very interesting spike in the early of 2020. Then it's a spike higher than heart disease, cancers, stroke, and everything else. So this is not a joke. This is not something just like a flu. It's something very, very serious. So once you put the story behind the data, and you can make everything you try to do. You want to convince people. You want to make a political movement. You want to do business like us, and will become very easy, right? So this is our goal. This is actually what I intend to do. And I have a few examples that I'm going to be showing to you, but without me talking too much, and I will go directly into some of the mechanism we're going to be doing this. So the mechanism of doing this Data Apprentice workshop is that we're going to have faculty. Now we have like five of us here, and we have the student. I have probably somewhere around 10 here. And we have, and what we don't have is the problem. We don't know what kind of problem we're going to be solving. But we do have a lot of data set flying around that I'm going to be showing you in a minute or so. And what I intend to do in the fall semester 2020 is that I'm going to be introducing to you a simple tool. And this tool is the tool we're going to be using in this group to produce some outcome, some visualization that we can deliver to other places. And these other places including my ultimate goal is actually at the end of the semester, every one of us either form a group or individually will produce a few YouTube video, and in this YouTube video we're going to be showcase the problem, the story we discover, the problem, interesting problem we discover in the process of using the tool. And there are a couple places I use both in my different level of graduate level and undergraduate level classes, as well as my student club. Is there are competition out there in the spring semester? If we have something good that we discover, we can enter those into the data analytic competition. Maybe we can win something, make a UIS great again, or make a UIS famous again in the outside world by attending the competition from, for example, AI student chapter competition, or there is an external website called Kaggle, and this is the resource we're going to be having. They have a lot of data, a lot of problem for people to analyze, to solve, and we can try to do something there. But minimally, we can present or showcase our idea in the STARS, the Student Technology, Arts, and Research Symposium that we have on UIS campus every spring semester. This will look good on your resume as a student, and you have a portfolio. Nowadays, that when you go out looking for a job, you need something that to put on your LinkedIn profile. The best thing to do is probably put in a YouTube link and show people what you can do. This is the project I did in my school. When I discover some data, I showcase. I discover some interesting finding, and I tell a story, and that you present in the STAR Symposium. Those are the things that we try to do here. Right. Before I move forward with all the example here, I would like to ask you to participate a little bit. First of all, how many of you are coming from my MIS 376 and 378 class? Raise your hand, or if you want to talk, you can actually open the mic to talk. Raise your hand, or I mean, just or clap the hand from the Zoom meeting. Okay, I didn't see anybody clapping. That's interesting. I thought that because I made this little project as one of my class project for them to choose. Oh, so most of them come from accounting? Okay, good, good. Okay, I do have a couple of graduate students here. Yes. All right. So anyway, that's fine. But I do have a student coming from my class that she cannot be here, but she wanted to be part of it. But what I will do here is that again, I want to let you know that the application form is right there. Put your name in here, and I intend to keep this group small, less than 10 people, and we will be working on this together, right? So at this particular point in time now in my presentation, let me just invite you to talk. If you want to talk, raise your hand or open your mic and interrupt me. And what I would do is I will show the tools now, what kind of tool we're going to be using, and the time schedule we're going to be having for this little group we're going to be doing here. So let me move to the next slide and show you the time frame. So I intend to do this in the month of October and November, and this will be small project, so it will not take too much of your time. It'll probably take you 1 hour next week, and when I'm going to be introducing the Gapminder tool, and I'll teach you how to use it and teach you how to find data and modify the data or massage the data into the format required to be fit into the tool. And from there, we'll generate the animation. And the week after, we will try to form teams and find data. Each team will attack their own problem or create their own visualization. That will be in the early of November, and we'll have one week after in the 10th of November. Try to create a small group so we can give you feedback and try to make the story more interesting. And I think the role of most of the faculty here will be by identify interesting problem for you to analyze and present. And by November 17, we'll probably have the visualization ready in our tool, and maybe you can start making presentation in PowerPoint slide. And my ultimate goal is that at the end, probably 2 weeks before the semester end, you will hopefully at least a couple of the group will produce a few video clip that we can post it to the YouTube and share. By the way, I do have a personal YouTube channel, and during the process of our workshop next week, I'll share that with you. And in the spring semester, then we will pick our work, or maybe pick another problem, try to attack. And in the process, of course, if we feel the needs of introducing other tool, but I will also do that as well. And I do have some of the tools that I already have the complete tutorial ready, and on that I will share with you. All right. So without further ado, let me switch to the website that I want to show you the tool that we're going to be using. And by the way, the slide, or not slide, the form, it looks something like this. Hopefully you can get to that form already and fill out the form. So the tool we're going to be using is this website called the Gapminder website. And I will encourage you to go into the website, and once you fill out the form, I will email you the slide that I'm using in this workshop, and you can find the link and go into the web page and try to play and before you play anything else, probably watch a few video on this particular slide. And the most important video to watch is the one from this person, this little like a professor looking Swedish social scientist. His name is Hans Rosling. And watch the video to see what he's trying to present. And basically what he was doing in the talk is to present you with a story made out of this GetMinder tool. And this is the story about the evolution, or you can call this evolution or competition of population around the world, how the world health impact or how the income of the world impact the world health. And this first animation or visualization show a thing we call bubble chart or motion chart, and that can actually be animated from as early as 1800 and all the way to I believe 2019, right? So this bubble going up and down from left and right show the income change over time, and the life expectancy of, how on average how many years we can live in different countries. So the size of the ball represent the population of that particular country. Say for example, this little green bar is the United States, and this one, the big one here, the biggest one here is China, and the second biggest one here is India. And you can also search other countries as well. Let me search a few of them and say probably which one is interesting. On campus, we have more Nigerian students now, so let me pick Nigeria. So we have these countries coming represent some of the data point we like to see, and with the story behind it is okay. We can see the timeline here is 1962. We can now see 1962. United States on average can live up to about 70 years old, and China and India, Nigeria, some average somewhere between 45 to 50. So their income is obviously correlated with the income. The higher the income, the higher the life expectancy that you can have. And if you move this over time, you can see the countries catching up very quickly in different pace. And China catch up United States in both income and life expectancy. So now the life expectancy of China is about in par with the United States, but of course the income is still probably 1/3 of United States. And with this kind of visualization, you can easily see the story. But of course, with the short time I have here, I don't really tell the story that well. But you can see the power of this story already. And this tool is something also we call as an ad hoc visualization tool. You can change the dimensions, say for example, change the income from income to the how many baby a woman produce in their lifetime. So so we can actually change this. This is probably from 0 to 8, right? So assuming that their number of baby change from 0 to 8, you can reset the chart and take a look at how they move against each other again. So and the point is that it's interesting, right? It's an interesting story, interesting tool. So in the past is that will this be difficult to do? The answer is actually with the tool you can download from this particular website, it's very easy to do as long as you know how to prepare the data. And the tool is not only producing bubble chart like this. And by the way, the bubble chart can also be produced using Excel or some other similar tool, or using more advanced tool like Python's or R. All these languages have similar tool, but this one has a much better animation, and it has other tools like what they call the mountain chart. This is a mountain chart, and if you watch the video, you know what it can represent. It has a map, and we can use map to represent similar thing. And for some of my MBA student and some my also as my business analytics student, I asked them to produce using Google Map to do something very similar. And this is one of the results of a former student produced in a Google map, showing you the statistic or the spread of Oscar award winner around the world in terms of their ethnic background. So obviously, the majority of them is white Caucasian that in the Oscar award winner. And what I was interested in here actually I started being interested in this project was 2016, and that was the time when a famous director from my country, Republic of China, also known as Taiwan, that we had a director called Ang Lee, and he won the Oscar in actually 4 different Oscar years. So I was looking at, I tried to see how many different non-white people are winning the award. So that's when I was interested in this project. So that as you can see the information very easily now with the visualization or with the Google Map. And there are other people doing similar job as well. The story can be restated and restate. And I just found out that somebody was doing the interesting work as well. This is work from a website called Flowing Data. I kind of monitor all the time myself. It's doing something very similar analysis like mine called who are the best director, and that is not white men, right? So they create a very simple bar chart, or actually a modified bar chart, starting from the year of 1928, and showing you the gray area as white winner, and the purple area as non-white winner. The first non-white was a 1965 a Japanese director, I believe, that win the Oscar. And you can see the spray, and we have more now in the 2000 after 2010. We have more non-white director in this relationship. So the story can be the same data set can be remassaged, reproduced using different tool, and our goal is just try to play around with the massage, play with different kind of data set. And earlier I showed you one of this relationship showing out in a line chart. And here's another interesting one I want to show it to you, also from Flowing Data. And this is also talking about the stage of relationship. It's a comparison between 1970. So you see that this chart here is an animation. I'll pause this a little bit. On the left-hand side, show the percentage of people going from the first date to romantic relationship to live together to get married, and they move from the first date to now the current timeline is 5 months. And if you play an animation, you can see an interesting comparison between the age of 70, which is the baby boomer age, to the 2010 that we are in the more or less like a millennial generation relationship. So you can see that after 10 years, well, that's too long already. I just start a little bit slower. You can, after 1 year or 2 years of in relationship, you can see that we have a big difference between 1970s and 2010. 62% after 2 years already got married, but in the baby boomer generation, but in 2010 only 30%. Interesting finding, right? So that's the story that we can always find and play around, and the link of all these interesting sites are on our slides already. So I put some of the slide here. Kaggle here is the website you can find a lot of competition. Gapminder is the website we're going to be using for this particular workshop. So next Tuesday at the same time, and hopefully you can spare the brown bag time that we have here and eating something, watching me, showing you how to do this tool. I intend to go to the City of Chicago data portal that I use a lot in my teaching, and to grab some data and put them into the Gapminder tool and showcase to you the entire process of how to get the data and clean the data a little bit and put it into the tool and create a story and criticize or at least identify a few interesting observation. And the presentation we're going to be making for the YouTube video or presentation will be short, somewhere between like 10 second to 10 second. The 10 seconds is actually the initial time limit you have for TikTok video. So 10 second to maybe all the way to 10 minutes, right? 10 second to 10 minutes presentation will be the goal that I have. And so go ahead and fill out your name in that application form, and I'll pause here a little bit and for you to introduce yourself and to join, or if you have any question, feel free to tell me. And what I will do is I will also stop the recording, and so the name of your name will not be recorded in the recording.